Okay, March, you were supposed to be warmer. What's going on? It's like not even snow, it's just raining ice. Probably can't hear me. Getting my special treat, and then I gotta hit up Lowe's, and I wanna check out some of the new spring stuff at Walmart. There was a nasty, greasy fingerprint on my camera, right on the lens. Sorry about that. It's a great shot of the door, wasn't it? I used the aquifer on my lips, and that always, like, somehow finds its way into everything else. Alright, so last month here they had some really nice looking rabbit's foot ferns, and I wanted to go ahead and grab some because I had an idea for a planter I want to do, and they're really cheap, so you can check that out. Let's see, I think they were over here. Yep. There we go. Alright, so here's 2. I needed 3. I guess this will do. Look at those. Look at that. I love that. Okay, and then I also needed a bag of this orchid blend, which I grabbed. I like this one because it... Oh, wait. No, this is the wrong one. Not this one. Yeah, I needed the one in the pink bag. They only have the purple and the red. This one has chunky peat in it, which I don't want. And that one's just bark. They're doing like a reset sort of thing. So the only soil they have is the organic miracle. I don't know anything about this blend. I don't know if they just repackaged the old one, which was basically just a fungus gnat magnet. I don't know, but that's all they got, so I'm going to have to make it work. I like the other orchid bark blend a lot because it's just the, what is it? It has the bark in it, charcoal, and chunky perlite, which are all the things I like to add into my soil. Oh, maybe Walmart will have it. Yeah, not looking very promising. Ooh, but the spring pottery is looking pretty cute. This one's got some nice texture to it. Right, so I've always been kind of wary of pots where the top is smaller than the midsection because your roots fill out down here and then you have a heck of a time getting the plant out of the top when it comes time to repot the plant. Oh, these are kind of cute too. Now, I do like these. I mean, they're just like a hammered copper, but, hi. No, that's ridiculous. They're very thin and flimsy. Oh, look at that. Very Instagrammy. Fancy. Not a bad price. These are kind of fun, too. Ooh, I really like this. This is nice. Look at that. $8.84. That's a nice pot. And it's got a hole in the bottom. You can go ahead and pop that out. If my finger was smaller. Look at that. Cool. I really like when pottery comes with those options where you have the hole but you put a plug in case you don't want one. And I already have you. You're pretty. You're fancy. Oh, wouldn't you like that? Got some roses, some pineapples. Okay, the cats are cute, but for some reason, kind of condescending. Llama. Alright, these are adorable. I don't know how anybody could choose between the two. Because while I like the lemon, which is what they're calling it, I feel like the color is just a little bit off. Kind of reminds me of eggs. And I like this too, but it's not time yet. Some smaller ones with the prints on them, some cactus, and I kind of like these. Those are cute. Oh, and it has a drainage hole. That's really cute. Only $1.44. Oh, I picked up some other things. I swear, they have sold these for years. I have tons of those. I used to drill holes inside of them and use them for my orchids, but then I learned that not a good idea because the top's smaller than the middle, and then it gets really hard to get the plants out of them when you need to repot them. These are kind of fun, too. They have a nice texture. Yeah, I like those. Ooh, I like that. It's got some nice shininess to the top. Nice shiny rim. Some double hanging baskets, and they don't look half bad either. This pattern or texture that's on here reminds me of a lot of what used to be on a lot of bonsai pottery back in the day. There were a few years where this is like all you could find on bonsai pots, but this looks a little bit different. Not bad, 14 bucks for 2. The rope feels like a decent quality. Sorry, $15. I learned with money, it's important to remember to round up, not down. Oh, you kind of cute. It's another hanger. It's a nice looking hanger. I like that. That would be so pretty with a fern in it. The removable plug seems to be a trend here, and I'm really, really a big fan of that. If you sell your pots without drain holes, it's a pain in the butt trying to put holes in them. So it makes sense to go ahead and put a plug in there. So much harder to buy a pot and drill a hole in it. Like, a lot of people won't even do it, so that's nice. Here's the other stuff I picked up. Every year I buy these and they're never actually pretoria, so maybe this year we'll get lucky. These pretty, what is that, Violet Queen Zinnia. I need to look that picture up because I doubt that it actually looks that vibrant. And last year I planted these and they looked horrible, so I might put them back. But I didn't try the new dimension. I'm gonna give those a shot. By horrible, I just mean the color looked nothing like that. Not at all. Which could be like soil, and there are lots of different variables, but my soil hasn't changed, and I'm not gonna go through a lot of work for the dahlia, so need to probably switch that out. And I'm home, and I got all kinds of goodies. I know there's only a few things on the table, but there's more. So I picked up the hanging basket, which was in the, yeah, you guys saw this. This is the ceramic hanger here. I really like this. I thought it was pretty. I think that the rope on it is kind of cheap. I've had these before, like the kind of cheaper ones, and even on some that are a little bit nicer. And the weather can sort of take its toll on these guys, so I may end up restringing that with something else, but I really like it. I like the way it looks. It's cute, fancy, very classy. I was thinking, I have a pothos I might put in here. It's the Manjula pothos. I picked this up from Lowe's not too terribly long ago, and it had all that brown on it. It's the only one they had. It's the only one I've even seen. It's not a super rare plant, and I got it from Lowe's, but it looks a lot like the Marble Queen, but the foliage has more of a cup shape to it, just more texture. There's just something about it I really like. The variegation's really cool. I like this pothos a lot. I don't know if it's going to actually work in this though. It's because I think size-wise, and the Manjula, that pothos seems to be very full, and I think it'll end up covering up a lot of this. So I was thinking about maybe putting a fern in here, but at the same time, I don't know if the ropes have, let me think. Where's Mark? Where's Mark Wahlberg? Okay, I found him. Here he is. That's my Boston fern, Mark Wahlberg. This guy, pretty tough. I don't know how that would work in this either, though, just because, well, I don't think the rope's long enough to put that in there. Yeah, see what I'm saying? I could make that work. I could pull the fronds through and everything. But the Boston ferns, they get big. They're very big and bushy. They grow fairly quickly, too, for a fern. So I don't know if that would be the best option either. Basically, what I'm saying here is I bought this with no idea what I'm doing with it. I just thought it was pretty. Yeah, I could make it work, but I don't know. The Bostons, like I said, they grow quickly. The thing is, I really like the idea of having the green, the freshness of a fern with the blue in this pot. But, I mean, the majority of plants are green, so I can find that effect from something else, surely. And then this guy, I mean, you could tell I really liked that pot a lot. I grabbed just a cheap little watering can. I needed something with a more narrow spout on it so I can kind of get into some of the nooks and crannies with some of the things I have on my shelf over here that I don't want water pouring over the tops of and like getting into the crowns. So this was like, I don't know, I think it was like $1 or $2. Pretty cheap, nothing special, just a little watering can. This pot though, I really like it, and I've realized over the last, I don't know, year or so when I've been looking at pottery that I don't really have any particular taste or style. Meaning I like things that are loud, bright, and obnoxious sometimes, and other times I really enjoy things that are more muted and calm and neutral. Like, I wouldn't really consider this to be neutral, whereas these are much more neutral. The marble one, I've had that one for a little while, and this one. So it's just, you know, that's the thing. You know, you can like more than one thing, that's okay. And I think it adds some diversity to things I'm doing in the house in the wintertime when I move my houseplants inside. It drives me crazy. That's the one time when I wished my pottery all kind of matched, or at least like was within the same territory as being like a bright red pot next to something rustic with lots of grapevines on it. That's where it drives me crazy. Outdoors, a lot of the times that my containers become somewhat hidden because I tuck them around. Doesn't bother as much. Doesn't bother me as much. Sorry, my hand's like very much in frame here, too much. But yeah, I like this. Like I mentioned at the store, I like that these have plugs in them, so you can take that in, take it out, do whatever you want with it. They have little balls on their feet, which is kind of cool, although something weird's going on here. It's like it doesn't want to sit right. I don't know what that's about. I think that's something I'm doing though. Okay, and then they also had this little contraption here, which is a stand to put the pots on. This was, I want to say it was like $5 or $6, but I don't remember. I'm not positive. See, you just like kind of get these guys scissoring in there, make them fit. 2 hands would probably work better. There we go. Yes, that's much better. And you just grab your pot and just kind of set that on in there. I think this would look better with the marble one, but okay, so like I said, it's like $5, so I'm not too surprised by this, but not stable. This isn't level. So I don't think I would actually, yeah, look at that. That's terrible. Yeah, that's not going to work. You can see here, this is not level. This part's sticking up higher, so the legs aren't quite right. I wonder if I turn it over. I would think that'll probably, yeah, it's still the same issue there. Still not going to be level. Well, okay. It was cheap, and I kept the receipt, so not the end of the world. Sorry about that. That was probably really loud. So I'll be taking that back because this is garbage. Yeah, nice try, Walmart. Also, they had Perrier on sale at the store for $1, which is awesome because I never get it, but I like it because it looks fancy. Okay, yep, that's gross. It's carbonated. I don't like carbonated water. I thought I got the bottle that was flat, but, well, obviously not. It's not terrible as far as carbonated water goes, but I don't need bubbles in my water. It's not necessary. It just makes me want to make a mixed drink. That's all it does. I just feel like I need to put gin in that. So that's not, I don't consider it refreshing. But to each his own. I'm not saying you're wrong if you like it. It's just not for me. I guess I have to drink it though. I can't like use that for my plants, can I? Nope. Alright, well I'll drink it. It's fine. Whatever. I also got some of this frog moss. This is actually pillow moss. And the nurseries around here do sell this, but it was just convenient because I was at the pet store and they claim that it's got enough spore and stuff going on there that if you moisten it back up and keep it moist, that it'll start to regrow. We will see about that. I have some terrarium things I want to get going on, so I'll probably be incorporating that into the terrariums. Also, speaking of which, I got these nice soil blends here. Very airy. They've got some rice hulls in them. I think this will be really nice to use in those terrariums. I also grabbed a bag of hold on. Ugh! Repti soil. This also will work well for terrariums. I don't think I'm going to need this much, and it needs some amending. It's a little bit too dense. Definitely going to want this to have more airiness to it, but it wasn't a bad price for what it is, so I grabbed that too. Got some horticultural charcoal. Finally, I have been trying to track this stuff down for so long. Nobody's been selling it. I have lots of carbon, which the carbon using like your fish tank that I could have used instead. But I wanted this because I also like to mix it with some of my soil blends, so I was happy to have found that. That was from that nursery, my favorite nursery. They finally opened back up, so I grabbed that from them. This soil right here. A couple ferns, which I'll show you in a second. And these adorable little tools. Aren't these cute? They were on sale for $4.99, which the normal price was $8.99, which really isn't too bad, but I was just like, they're so cute. $4.99, perfect. I used to have a set of these things. They were actually my great-grandmother's, but I was a little kid, so I don't know, little kid things happened and who knows where they went. But so now I have some new ones. These will come in nifty, especially the tongs. I think those tongs will be useful. And then as far as the ferns go, you already saw the two Boston ferns, or not Boston, the two rabbit's foot ferns that I got at Lowe's not too long ago in the video. I managed to find one more at the nursery. It's much smaller, but that's okay, so that gives me 5. I need 5 for what I'm doing, or I want 5, I should say. And then I grabbed 2 of these Maidenhair ferns. Aren't they pretty? Maidenhair ferns are one of my favorites. It's always tricky because I always want to play with them. There's something about them that's just so inviting. Need to keep the fingers off of them. And these have had the fans blowing on them a little bit, so they're not really liking that. The oscillation broke on my fan, so I need to get that fixed. There's just something so tranquil and peaceful about a Maidenhair fern, even when it's being blown around like crazy. I'm going to scoot these actually back over here where they're a little bit more protected. Here you go, guys. There you go. Back to safety. And I'm planning on using one of these in the terrarium I'm doing. That's what I'm thinking anyways. Anybody who's ever grown maidenhairs before, you know they don't like to dry out. So they're a good candidate for a terrarium. It's just the terrarium, it's a long story. When I do the video, you'll see the complication. Basically, it has a small hole in the top, and I think I can make it work, but they're kind of delicate. They're sort of delicate little babies, so I don't want to have to be too rough with it to get into the vase. I just told you. I just said you'd have to wait. You didn't. I'm sorry. I never shut up. Oh, look, that's how much I've had. I'm trying to drink it. I don't want to be wasteful, but ugh, it's so gross. Okay, and lastly, an update on the Ficus lyrata, my Fiddle Leaf Fig. I'm gonna have to kind of pull this orchid out of the way. It's sort of overlapping things. A couple months ago, I did a video on this guy. This had a lot of frost damage from an unexpected freeze that we had. And I did some cutbacks. I amended the soil. I've been doing some fertilizing. And here we are, just what, 2 months later, looking fantastic. There is some residue on the foliage. I've actually been spraying this with neem because there was, like, the day after I put out all of the bags for the lace wings, there was like a whitefly outbreak out of absolutely nowhere. There was like a cloud of them, and the neem took care of that very, very, very well. I sprayed it on the plants where I could actually see the whiteflies hanging out. You can kind of, sort of, one just landed over here. So it didn't work perfectly. There's still some out here. But I've been spraying this guy and my philodendron about, I'd say, probably twice a week. And it's working very, very, very well. So I'm not too worried about the whitefly taking over. And then the lizards, they actually, I've seen them go after the whiteflies. But the problem is, they fly. And the lacewings, they'll eat them too. But again, the whiteflies fly. So they have to catch them first. So I've just been spraying. I haven't seen any soldier beetle larvae over here. That's the lacewing larvae. So that's enough of that. Back to the ficus. And that's why there's residue on there. So you can see this is all coming out from that main trunk in here. This was a standardized one, and I'm not probably going to be doing any cuts or anything to open that trunk back up. None of the branches, I don't think. There's a little bit of growth coming out of this top branch right here. The rest, though, I can go ahead and I'll be able to cut those back now. And they're very slowly starting to fill back out, or really not even that slow. I mean, this is all, I mean, look at, okay, see if I can find it, a way you'll be able to see it. This, so from right here all the way out there, that's just 2 months growth. That's with minimal care. I haven't been doing very much with them. So that's fantastic. I mean, you don't need to do much with these. I'm saying I haven't been like doting over them or anything like that. Pretty simple plants, as long as they don't stay sopping wet and they don't dry out for too terribly long. Pretty easy, and it does have its very own set of lights here. That makes a big difference as well. There was some issues with a little bit of scorching, so I have adjusted the lights. I've taken them down about an hour on their timer. I'm going to take it down another hour, and that, I think, has been working fairly well. But everything else, all the other foliage that's in there, just looks fantastic. Nice big leaves. It's just so much growth in just, like I said, 2 months. 2 months time. It's great. I'm really happy with that. The lows out here, pardon the epidendrum orchids kind of in the way there, but the lows out here, I was talking to the person who manages the plant department and does the ordering, and she says one of their growers is growing out some Ficus lyrata, some Fiddle Leaf Figs for them. And right now, she said they're about like probably 5 to 6 feet tall, and they'll be shipping them out in a few months when they're 10 feet tall. I may have said 8 to 10 feet. I'm not positive. But either way, I was still mostly impressed by the fact that she said in a couple of months, and this is what our conversation was about, was that under the optimal conditions, how quickly these actually will grow. Whereas sometimes they'll sit in a house and just not really do very much at all. When you give them the heat and the lighting and everything, that they will grow very, very well. Which is why when this did lose all of its foliage from that cold snap, I wasn't terribly concerned about it, because even if all of the wood had died on it, it likely still would have grown back from the roots. And that's okay, because the standardized Fiddle Leaf Figs are pretty, but I kind of like them more when you have just the multiple trunks in a pot and they can kind of grow and do their thing. The standardized ones look cool, but I prefer to keep them pruned a certain way to get a nice thick trunk on them and to keep them a little bit more tidy, which to me, super, super tidy isn't really the aesthetic that you get a Ficus lyrata for. It's just not a super, super formal plant. They add a lot to design and to the interior, but it's not like a topiary or something that's going to have a really clean shape to it. But I think that that's a large part of the appeal to the Ficus lyrata. Like I said, the more just its natural nature, how it grows, that's what I like to see. So yeah, as far as this guy's concerned, I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing. Like I said, I let it dry just a smidge between waterings, not too terribly much. Probably I'd say the top maybe 2 inches of soil. I let it dry out, and then I water it again. Every time I've been watering it, I'm adding a little bit of all-purpose fertilizer, probably about a quarter the dose, and that's another reason I'm getting more growth out of it. And it can also lead to things like maybe some misshaped leaves and whatnot if things become imbalanced with the nutrients that are in the fertilizer. So I will probably go ahead and switch to a different one just to make sure it's getting a little bit more balanced, a little bit more iron there into the fertilizer, and that should make for a nice looking healthy plant. And there was also a cold snap out here that lasted for about a week and a half when we had that Arctic blast. And we had a second one. At the beginning of this vlog, it was snowing. And one of the heaters broke out here, and that is about the time that these newer leaves were developing. So that can also be a factor to the different leaf shapes. And that's not just nutrient. There are a lot of things that can go in there. Humidity, airflow, lots and lots of things. Did you guys watch the Ephelandra video? Panama Queen, isn't she pretty? One of my favorite tropical flowers, one of my favorite tropical flowering plants. It does, though, once those flowers start actually popping out of the bracts, they don't last that long. I'm noticing that. This has been about a week, maybe a week and a half, and there's starting to be a lot of die-off in there. But there are other bracts that are less mature, and it's still sending up more over here that'll keep blooming. So it's going to keep putting on a show for a little while. And there's also a spike over here on Bird of Paradise. That's pretty exciting too, isn't it? I have this one, another one. I just got a new one actually from the nursery. And then I have a big one that's tucked away back there, a really big one. Not this one, that's a white bird of paradise. I have another orange bird of paradise, and I need to get it out of this bubble actually, probably next week, because we're getting to a place where temperatures are going to be in the 50s during the day and then in the 40s and upper 30s at nighttime. And I'm probably not going to move the plant out, but I want to keep it somewhere on wheels so that when there is a nice warm day, I can scoot it out and then pull it back in on the other side of this plastic. It's not heated, so it's much cooler, so it gets that nice shift in the temperature. So it gets a nice shift in the temperature, a very nice shift in the amount of light it's getting, and that should encourage that one to get going and blooming. Because it's been tucked away back here, so when I changed the lights and everything on it, it didn't likely have much of an effect on it because it's pretty protected and shaded back there. I also don't want the growth to get too leggy. So this is okay for like a couple of weeks, but I want to get it back out as soon as I can. Look how big this leaf is coming up there on that white bird of paradise. Last week I set up this table and I brought this white one in. I have two white ones. There's this one that's the white bird of paradise, Strelitzia Nicolai, and then there's another one back here that, well, a Vanda fell in there. But there's a larger one over here that I repotted last summer. This one looked like it had soft scale on it, so I didn't bring it in with everything. I left it outside the plastic, treated it for a couple of months, and it seemed pretty good. I didn't see anything on it. Like, really, within a few weeks of treating it, I didn't see anything on it. So, I mean, it could have just been dust or maybe the DE powder clumped up on it, and I just overreacted. But still, I mean, it's only been a few days since I filmed the last video, not the last video, but the last vlog, and that leaf was much smaller. It's gotten much bigger. That's very exciting. I'm happy to see that it's responding well to being brought in here. I figured it would, having more lighting and much more water. It wasn't getting very much water out there on the other side because it's cooler. If you water when temperatures are a lot cooler, that's when you start to have issues with rot and things like that. All right, so those are the updates with the new pots, the new fern, nasty bubble water, and there is one other thing I want to talk about, but I think it's going to have to wait for a different video. And that's a new plant that I got in. I have another one on the way. Plants that I've wanted since I was a child. They've been available, but I'm impatient. I wanted to get them big, and I found them big for a good price. But I'll talk about that in a separate video. This one's going to be long enough, and there's a whole backstory to the it's a yucca. It's a yucca rostrata. It has a whole big thing. It'd be too much to go into right now. But hey, thanks for hanging out while I got to run around, look at the new pottery. I probably shouldn't have that stacked like that, should I? End up scratching it up. I don't want to do that. Y'all got to meet Mark Wahlberg. How exciting. You're welcome. You know, an ivy might look nice in here. I might do that. There are lots of options. Comment down below some suggestions, things that would look good in here. I always love hearing from everybody's ideas. Seeing you guys talk to each other is a lot of fun too. Or you can hit me up on Instagram at Tropical Plant Party. Follow me and I'll follow you back. It's fun seeing everybody's pictures and kind of nerding out together. Things are getting so colorful in here. It's making me so happy. Hey, don't forget to leave the video a thumbs up. It helps a lot. I really do appreciate it. It makes a big difference. So thank you very, very much for doing that. And subscribe as well. It's uploaded multiple times a week. So don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you know when new videos come out. Oh, so the next few videos, watch out for that terrarium video. I'll be doing that. Also, I've been thinking about doing like Fern Fridays. There are a lot of different types of ferns. A lot of ones I'd like to talk about. Maybe doing that for a few weeks and seeing how that goes. Let me know what you think about that. Oh, back here, this guy. I came out here this morning and this was in the pond, like completely unpotted. All the soil's gone. This is a Apaphia pendulum, had an adorable little pink flower on it. And the koi ate pretty much half of it. I don't know what happened. Maybe a lizard jumped on there. I don't know. All I know is no more delicate lightweight plants. near the water, because clearly that did not work out well. Are things jittery on your end, or is that just my camera? I really hope the entire video isn't, because what I'm seeing right now, things are moving kind of weird. Oh man, if that's the case, I am so sorry. Welcome to my channel where things go wrong and I don't know how to fix them. All right, I hope y'all are doing well. Thanks for hanging out. Like I said, don't forget to comment down below. Let's talk. And as always, and most importantly, everybody, keep on growing. Bye.